Hello everybody and welcome back to my sunroom on this beautiful cold winter's day here in East Tennessee. It's starting to look like orchid Christmas back here in February with everything blooming out. That makes me happy. I thought a good topic for today would be, what do I do with air roots on my orchid? And this is an especially good thing to discuss for winter because it's really cold and heating systems are cutting on often. It dries out the air and the skin on my hands gets dry, my throat gets dry, and the air roots on my phals get dry and silver and kind of sad looking without my help. So I'll tell you what I do with these air roots during the winter. So first of all, are air roots important to the orchid, and why do they grow? Actually, all the roots on this orchid are air roots. Some are growing in bark or moss inside the pot, and some of them decide they're going to grow outside the pot. They grow every which way. It's easier to care for them when they grow inside the pot, in the bark or the moss. To keep them watered, you just water inside the pot. But if they're growing outside the pot, what do? My advice is don't cut air roots. Unless they're brown, damaged, or crumbly, I leave them on the plant. I've seen air roots rebound in the spring when the humidity goes back up many times. So I don't cut anything off my orchids unless it turns brown. If it's green, I believe the orchid is using it in some way. So my rule of thumb is if it's brown, cut it down. If it's green, leave it be. Air roots are important to the structure of the plant. They absorb water and nutrients from the air. But it's hard for them to absorb water and nutrients from the air when the humidity is so low in the winter. So I put a little extra work in keeping them healthy this time of the year. And here are some tips I'm going to pass on to you that will help you. I'm using my humidifiers 24/7 at this time of the year. I have 2 of these humidifiers here in my sunroom, and I keep them on a high setting as much as I can. I'm trying to keep the humidity in my sunroom up to 30% if I can. The past few days have been below freezing, and the nights have been in the teens on the Fahrenheit scale. So the humidity has dropped dramatically. So my humidifiers are my orchid's best friends in the winter months. Also, a tip for your humidifier, this is a CVS Health ultrasonic desktop model. And these should be run on distilled water or reverse osmosis water only. For those of you who have Brita or Zero or pure filter canisters, that water will work as well. It will prolong the life of your humidifier. And I have many questions on my channel about what you do with longer air roots. And what I do is a type of water culture on my longer air roots. This orchid is one of my favorites. It's Buddy, and he's going to be blooming soon, and I can't wait to share him with you all when he does. And every day I place Buddy's air roots in some warm reverse osmosis water in a bowl, and I allow the roots to hydrate for about an hour or so. You'll notice your air roots won't dry out when you do this every day that the humidity is low. And after the roots set in the water for about an hour, I notice they're pretty well hydrated. So I take the roots out and I just leave the bowl sitting here beside the plant, and I use it as a humidity bowl for added humidity around that plant. Then I drain it the next day, I put fresh water in the bowl, and I repeat the process. also use wet paper towels on top of my air roots, like I have here on Phalenopsis. This does a great job of hydrating the air roots. I place a wet paper towel on top of the roots and I just let it stay there until the paper towel dries out. Yeah. If the air roots are really dry, you can keep watering the paper towel. It's simple yet effective. The added bonus to this is the weight of the wet paper towel has pulled these air roots down toward the bark. They're getting closer and closer to reaching the bark. And roots on top of the bark are likely to grow branches down into the bark. I hope that that's what's going to happen here. Another thing you can do is just spritz the roots with water from a spray bottle. I do that pretty often. Or you can take your orchid to the kitchen sink and spray them off with a hose attachment. Anything to keep them hydrated is good. And I also remind myself about this time in February that spring is coming. I remind them spring is coming and the weather is going to warm up. It makes me feel better, and I believe it makes them feel better too. And I'm also checking my orchids frequently since it's so cold to make sure they don't need watering more often. I've seen orchids dehydrate in the winter more than any other time of the year. It's definitely a challenge to care for orchids in the cold winter months, but it's so worth it. And spring is coming. So if you all have figured out a good way to keep your air roots hydrated that I haven't mentioned, please share it in the comment section below. You all leave the most interesting comments, and I love reading through my comment section. The sense of community in my comment section just makes me smile. You all are such a blessing to me. So before I end the video today, I'd love to say the blessing over you and your family and your orchids. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face toward you and give you His shalom peace. You all make it a great day, and we'll see you next time.